Hello everyone and welcome back to another lesson. We're going to be talking about extending your arms out and how that is a foul because when we go up to block someone, the only way we should be extending our arms is vertically. So we will be standing like this, right? So if we go in like this or like this, that would not be okay because we want to be as still and as straight up and down as possible, so then we're not in their way. So we would just stand like this, just as straight as possible as we can and as still as possible, so that we wouldn't get called foul.
This drill is going to be called partner passing. And in this drill, you and your partner will be standing 15 feet away from each other. Or if you don't have a partner, you'll start off by being 15 feet away from a wall. And with that, you'll work on your chest passing, your bounce passing, your overhead passing, and your baseball sidearm passing. So with these, when you're practicing it, you'll want to time yourself, so 30 seconds, nothing too crazy. Yeah, 30 seconds is about right, or even it could be less, 15 seconds. And if you can do as many passes within that time frame as possible, as many accurate passes, the better. So obviously, when you first start off, you don't want to rush yourself. You want to get the quality down first. So right now, I'm facing a wall. So I want to stand 15 feet away from it and be in a good stance. And I can be on my toes a little bit, but then eventually when you pass, your feet are going to be set. So you can be moving, maybe you can do a couple dribbles. Chest pass, ball comes back, hands are ready to catch. And then do as many of those within 30 seconds. And then you'll switch to bounce pass. And then be ready when the ball comes back. And then you also do overhead pass, time yourself, and count how many reps you can do, and then baseball pass. So with those, you'll go ahead and practice those, and we'll demonstrate how that's done. Yeah, and really, you want to make sure you're flicking once upon the release of the ball with your finger to generate that backspin. This drill is going to be one-hand shooting, and this drill helps a lot with if you're having some trouble with your offhand or your non-shooting hand interfering with your shot, or if you are throwing the ball instead of lifting. So when you shoot, you'll want to shoot with one hand. Oftentimes, people that throw the ball, they kind of shoot with two hands to generate more power. And this often happens because they're shooting out further from their range, or it was a habit developed from when they were young. And they were obviously, when you have smaller bodies and you're shooting on a tall men's league or adult rim, your body's gonna have to compensate to generate the power to get it up that high. But so this drill is gonna help to kind of fix those mechanics and generate and practice a better form. So with one-hand shooting, what you want to do is get in your stance. You really want to be conscious about, so your offhand, which is my left hand, will be either behind your back or just resting at your side. Make sure you're balanced, the ball is balanced on your right side, on your shooting hand. Your elbow is in, not out. And you'll want backspin. you'll want to make sure that your index finger is in alignment with the middle of the ball, and you're lifting the ball. Keep your elbow bent at a 90-degree angle, an L shape, like that. Like that. All right, and I'll stand really in close range, so 9 feet from the hoop. Here's how it'll look. Behind the back dribble. With behind the back dribble, it is very advantageous in that you're able to, as you change direction, you don't have to take your eyes off of the rim and the front view of the court where you have a lot of options as far as passing with your teammates. And with this move, you'll want to do it in an open court when you have a defender that's heavily playing and overcommitting toward the side that you're dribbling on. So if the ball is in my right hand, it'd be best to use this move if the defender is committing, cutting me off or dribbling to my right side. So counter my left side. By doing so, I'm able to keep an eye on the rim and survey the full court. So also another advantage of this move is that your body is using as a protection for the ball. And by that, I mean your body is between the ball and the defender, keeping the distance away from them. Keeping a longer distance from the defender to the ball, which makes it harder to steal. So here's how it goes. So you can do this in two ways. You can wrap or you can bounce. So if I'm going to drive to my right and get cut off, now I've countered the defender from cutting me off. If the defender's on my hip and I'm attacking driving hard forward, and I want him to just run past me, I'll drive hard, bounce, and now the defender's momentum is forward, and I can raise up to the side.
Now, for this week's rebounding, we are going to be talking about another tip, and it's if you had like superpowers. So if you were able to jump super high. So when it comes to rebounding, we need to jump up for the rebound. So we just want to make sure that we get down shoulder width apart and we can get down low so that when we explode, we use our legs to explode and we can end up jumping higher than our opponent. We also want to make sure that we time the jump correctly and that when we go up, our hands are up to give us even extra height. Because if we jump just like this with our hands down, then we take away that extra, whatever this is, to rebound the ball. So if we have shoulder width apart, we explode with our legs, and we extend our arms out to get the rebound, then we will be a super rebounder.
Tightly guarded in scoring area. So first thing is you'll want to meet the ball. So this goes hand in hand with being ready to receive a pass. So when you want to do this suddenly. So if the pass is coming from here, I want to be nonchalant. Be very kind of lull the defender asleep. That way I don't pose a threat. So when he gets relaxed, that's the time to move. So you're nonchalant, you might even standing still. Then you move. So by doing this, it gives you a head start because your defender has to react. You're the one dictating the movement since you're on offense. You catch, and once you catch, you'll want to land in a 1-2 steps. In a 1-2 step with your foot closest to the basket landing first, typically. This allows you to pivot, to use that as a pivot foot. So here, I'll catch. So here I can pivot, take up my angle, and the way my hips are facing. And I want to protect the ball, kind of lean forward to create distance for me and the defender, and have it between my hip, my waist, and my chest. So from here, I'm in a triple threat position. I can raise up and shoot. I can drive right or left, or I can pass. So from this position, I'm handling it, so getting the footage from both, so I'm trying to do what angle I want. Once the defender is lulled to sleep or relaxed, that's when you do. Okay. This one involves a team play in which it's called the dribble, screen, and weave. So with this one, it's a team play involving at least two people, in which will consist of a ball handler and a receiver. So the ball handler will turn into the screener after the handoff. So it might sound like a lot right now, but it will make more sense after we demonstrate it. So it leaves you, it's a basic fundamental basketball play, but it leaves you with a lot of options, and is seen commonly in the pros and the collegiate level. The ball handler will dribble toward a teammate, and I'll make it here, and I can either shoot from the screen. We'll do that again. So I can either shoot and use the screen. Here I'm in a triple threat position. I can raise up and shoot, I can dribble, or I can pass. And the screener, he has multiple options as well. He can screen and then roll down toward the basket, or he can pop out the open space and receive a pass for an open shot. These are just some small examples. Or I can continue this and follow up with another dribble, screen, and weave myself with another teammate. Let's say in this area that I'm dribbling from. The options, there's many options. But with this example, we're just going to show some of the basic ones. But it's very effective in game. So here we're going to just demonstrate some different examples of how to do it.
Okay, so for this week's defense, we are going to talk about forcing our opponent to the sideline. So what that would look like is if I was guarding you and you were right-handed, I would force you to whatever closest sideline we had. Ideally, if I could, I'd force you to the left-hand side because one, you would have to change your dribbling hand. You would have to go with the left hand, and you would be going towards your left, which you probably wouldn't be comfortable. And then two, it would be easier for me just to flip with my dominant hand the ball away. And if you were going to the right hand, same thing, but I would just flip the ball away with my left hand so that I wouldn't reach over you with my right hand and not get called foul. So the main idea here is to position yourself in a way to where you're kind of like there, like maybe right about here to me, so that I block this whole side, I block out, and I force them to just one side, either the right side or the left side. But I want to make sure I push them out to the sideline because the sideline is like another defender.
So this one is called jump stops. The jump stops, essentially, this isn't the exact same jump stop that you would use in the actual game, but it helps kind of trigger the same muscles that you would use when executing the jump stop. So here's how we would practice that. So we're going to start, I'm starting with the other line. I'm starting in the center, facing the free throw line. My stance is shoulder width apart. I want to be nice and low and athletic in an athletic position. And I can start either right or left. So I'll go right. So I'll shuffle. Once I get to like across the blue line, I want to jump and jump off 2 feet, land in 2 feet. And then I'll jump back, shuffle to the left side. Get here. And make sure when you're jumping, be safe when you're landing. This can be the jump stop can be a dangerous one if you're not absorbing the impact pressure. If you're landing in a straight leg position, that can be extremely, it can be extreme on your knees and your joints. So, towards your lower extremities. So you want to make sure that you're absorbing the impact and absorbing the landing as much as you can. So you'll time yourself in, it could be a span of 30 seconds or 15, 20 seconds. See how many you can do. So start in the middle. So you count each time that you get back to the middle. So, or you can do each jump too. So right side. So copy 1, 2, 3, 4, and vice versa. So you'll go ahead and do that and try to beat your own personal record within your given amount of time. So when you're doing it with a shorter amount of time, you want to be as explosive as possible. If you're doing it for a longer time, then you'll want to obviously you're still going for as many as you can, but you're going to get fatigued more in a sense of like over a longer period of time. You'll be testing your endurance.
Now, for this week's little segment of attitude and mental and attitude, we are going to talk about role models. So let's say my role model is my dad. Then I would say, why is my dad a role model? Then I would say, my dad's a role model because he's hardworking. He doesn't give up until he gets something done. If he doesn't know how to do something, that doesn't discourage him. Like, he finds a way to do it. Maybe he goes on YouTube and he YouTubes something, or maybe he asks someone, but he's always looking to be doing something, or he always makes sure that once he starts something, he finishes something. And that's kind of like what it is with sports. So it's not going to be hard, and obviously when you first start, you don't know a lot about the sport. So we want to make sure that we keep pushing ourselves, because at the end of the day, it's going to pay off, and we're doing something active and something that's fun. So who is your role model, and why do you pick that person to be your role model?